Imagine this. You're driving up a winding mountain road in Estes Park, Colorado, the fog curling around the pines. The air crisp with that eerie chill that makes your skin tingle. Ahead, looming like a ghost frozen in time, stands the Stanley Hotel. Big, elegant, almost too perfect. And yet, something feels off. You can't put your finger on it. But trust me, you'll feel it the moment you step through those doors. Because this isn't just any hotel. This place has a history. Stories, whispers, shadows that seem to watch you when you're alone in the hallway. And today, we're diving deep into the mysteries, the secrets, and the chilling tales of the Stanley Hotel. The Stanley Hotel opened in 1909, built by a guy named Freeland Stanley. Yes, one of the brothers behind the Stanley steamer car. Freeland wasn't just an inventor. He had a taste for the strange, the majestic, and maybe even the supernatural. This hotel wasn't just a place to sleep. It was meant to awe. It was a palace of luxury in the middle of the rugged Rockies, but over the years, awe turned into fear, comfort into unease, and legends grew like vines twisting through the halls. People say it's haunted, others claim it's alive. And one famous writer, Stephen King, spent a single night here and left so rattled that he was inspired to write one of the most terrifying novels of all time. Asterisk. The Shining Asterisk. But what is it about this place that pulls on the human mind, digs into our curiosity, and sometimes refuses to let go? Let's start at the beginning. Walking through the Stanley Hotel, you can almost hear the echoes of the past. The grand piano in the lobby, ISNT, just decoration it. S said that the wife of the original owner, Flora Stanley, still plays it from time to time. Guests have reported hearing laughter in empty rooms, the phantom sounds of children running down hallways long after everyone's gone to bed, and cold spots that can make your breath visible even on a warm day. Now, I'm not here to scare you with cheap thrills. I'm talking about authentic experiences. This hotel has been meticulously preserved. The original furniture, the grand staircase, the ballroom, it's all real. But the line between history and haunting, that's where your mind starts to wonder. Are these stories simply echoes of the past, or something darker, something that has lingered behind? Let me tell you about room 217, probably the most infamous room in the entire hotel. This is the room Stephen King stayed in. Legend says that in 1911, a head housekeeper named Elizabeth Wilson was lighting the acetylene gas lanterns in the room when a leak caused a massive explosion. She was blown through the floor but miraculously survived. Ever since, guests who stay in room 217 have reported some very peculiar things. Some say their luggage gets unpacked for them. Others find their clothes neatly folded. And some report a cold presence in the room, the feeling of someone sitting on the edge of the bed. It's as if Elizabeth Wilson is still there, just trying to do her job. And here's the thing, the reports aren't consistent. One guest might experience all of this, another only hears faint whispers, and some feel absolutely nothing. It's like the hotel chooses who gets to see the past, that unpredictability, that moral ambiguity. Why does it affect some but not others? Why do some feel fear while others feel sadness, almost empathy? The Stanley isn't just haunted by terrifying specters, it's deeply human. You feel the echoes of people who lived, laughed, and even died here. Some guests swear they've communicated with spirits, not with terror, but with a strange connection, fleeting moment of understanding across time. Take the fourth floor, which used to be the servants' quarters. It's known for the sounds of children playing. Guests report hearing giggling and the sound of little feet running up and down the halls. Even when no children are staying on that floor, imagine lying in bed, the wind rattling the old windows, and hearing what sounds like a child's laughter in the distance. You'd feel something, right? maybe sadness for a life cut short, maybe comfort in their playful energy, or maybe the distinct chill of knowing that whatever was there wasn't entirely gone. Haunting isn't just about ghosts, it's about how our minds react to uncertainty. Our brains are wired to detect patterns, to make sense of the unknown. And in a place like the Stanley Hotel, with its creaking floors, shifting shadows, and eerie elegance, the mind is constantly walking a thin line between reality and imagination. Is that a shadow in the corner, or just a trick of the light? Was that a voice, or just the wind? Some psychologists suggest that what people experience here is a heightened sense of awareness. Our senses on high alert, where fear is intertwined with curiosity. And that combination, it's addictive. It's why people come back, again and again, drawn by the unknown, the thrill, the possibility that, just maybe, the stories are true. See, but here's where it gets weird. Not all the stories are horrifying. Some guests report kindness from the spirit's lights, flickering to guide them in a dark hallway. Doors being held open when their hands were full, lost items mysteriously reappearing right where they should be. The Stanley Hotel isn't just a horror story. It's alive, in ways we can't fully explain. It has a personality, a character that is both chilling and, at times, strangely welcoming. And that's just part one. We've only scratched the surface. In part two, we'll dive even deeper, exploring more chilling encounters, the direct influence on Stephen King's novel, and the twists that make the Stanley Hotel more than a building, more than a ghost story, something unforgettable. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching. If you thought part 1 at the Stanley Hotel was eerie, you'll want to buckle up. This is where the quiet whispers turn into something you can't ignore. We're diving deeper into the place where curiosity can be dangerous, where every shadow might have a story, and sometimes those stories are watching you. The Stanley Hotel is a masterpiece of contradiction. By day, it's a beautiful, elegant, historic landmark. But as the sun sets behind the Rockies, it becomes something else, something ominous and sinister. Imagine this. You're walking through the grand ballroom, the air completely still, yet you hear the crystal chandelier swinging above you. Catch the sweet scent of roses in a hallway, but there are no flowers to be found. Or late at night, you hear the distant, phantom notes of a piano echoing from a room where no one is playing. Guests have captured countless photos showing strange orbs of light or shadowy figures lurking in the corners of their frames. But here's the twist that makes it all so compelling. When you try to examine these phenomena too closely, they often vanish. It's as if the hotel itself resists being fully understood, teasing you with just enough to keep you hooked. This is its psychological power, the perfect blend of curiosity, suspense, and the seductive pull of the unknown. But not all the stories are innocent. Some tales from the Stanley are deeply unsettling. There are accounts of guests who, after an encounter with a spirit, felt a strange compulsion to do things they would never normally consider. Some have left personal, sentimental items behind in their rooms, as if answering an unspoken request. Others have described following strange, whispered instructions in the dark, or feeling an overwhelming urge to flee in terror for no apparent reason. This brings up a chilling question. Are the spirits here benign? Are they malevolent? Or is it possible they are simply reflections of us, our own hidden fears and desires brought to the surface? The hotel seems to force its visitors to confront what's buried deep inside, blurring the line between the paranormal and the psychological. It's a moral ambiguity that leaves you questioning everything you thought you knew. One of the most famous stories reveals a different side to the hauntings, one of profound emotional connection. A musician staying at the hotel was awoken in the middle of the night by the sound of the piano in his room playing a melody he'd never heard before. He said he felt a presence beside him, not threatening, but filled with a deep, sorrowful longing for recognition. He later discovered that the hauntingly beautiful melody was composed decades earlier by a forgotten resident of the hotel. Moments like that are incredibly powerful. They remind us that a haunting isn't just about jump scares and fear. It can be about empathy, loss, memory, and even love that lingers long after death. For the guests who experience these connections, it creates an unbreakable bond with the hotel, a memory that lasts a lifetime. It's the psychological depth of these encounters that truly sets the Stanley apart. And then, of course, there's Stephen King. His one-night stay at the Stanley in room 217 became the stuff of legend. He described waking up from a terrifying nightmare in a hotel that was eerily quiet. But in his dream, the hotel was alive, its halls twisted and stretched into impossible shapes. Whispers echoed through the walls, and he saw visions of children playing in empty corridors. King left the next morning, shaken but intensely inspired. That experience gave birth to The Shining. But here's the unexpected twist. It seems the hotel itself is aware of its influence. Countless writers, artists, and creators report a massive spike in their creativity after staying there. It's as if their imagination awakens, their minds flooded with new ideas. It feels like the hotel doesn't just house stories, it feeds on them, drawing inspiration from its guests to create even more tales yet to be told. Every floor, every room, every corner of the Stanley holds a story. Guests regularly report shadows that seem to mimic their movements in the corner of their eye. Objects that move on their own with no logical explanation. And the faint, distinct smell of cigar smoke said to be the hotel's founder, F.O. Stanley, making his rounds long after he passed away. This isn't a manufactured haunted house. It's authentic. Say, you can feel the weight of history here, the decades of lives lived, the joys, the tragedies, and the palpable sense of the unknown that clings to this place like fog on a mountaintop. Ultimately, the Stanley Hotel does more than just scare you. It challenges your perception of reality. It plays with your mind, tempting your bravery and testing your beliefs. And perhaps that's why it endures. Some places aren't meant to be fully understood. They are meant to make us feel, to make us question, and to make us wonder what lies just beyond the veil of our perception. So the next time you find yourself on that winding road leading up to its grand entrance, remember, the Stanley isn't just a building. It's a living story, a silent presence, a puzzle that might just be looking back at you, waiting. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from the shadows.